Yes. Welcome to another great episode of the Ashish and Friends podcast. I'm your host, as always, Ashish, at Ashish Airy on Twitter and Instagram. We've got Shahan in the house, at Shehan Jayaraja. We've got Dev, at Tupaleza, and we've got Ryan. So we've got a full house today, and we've got another fun draft going on today. Before we get started, you can always look at the poll results and a lot of other information on ashishandfriends.com. We always put the polls up after the podcast on Instagram, Ashish and Friends, and on Twitter, Ashish and Pals. You can always hit us up, ask us questions individually or as a group. If you have any ideas, please hit us up. We'd love to hear them. So today we're actually going to draft the best TV shows, and there's no limit on it. Growing up, whatever TV shows, right now, currently, whatever sitcoms, drama, whatever. At some point, I think we'll do some genres for drafting TV shows, but this is like unlimited, any TV show, what's the best ones? And actually, there's way too many since TV's spectacular, especially these days. This is the first draft. We're actually going to do 5 rounds, and I still don't think that's even enough. But yeah, this will be a 5-round draft, and as usual, I'll try to get let me get the draft order real quick here.
Technically, we did 5 rounds for that NBA one.
True, but we had to for that.
Yeah, we had to. Yeah.
I gotta say,
are you guys?
Ryan looks like he's got Dave Gettleman set up right now. He's just like there in like an empty room right now.
Yeah. Okay, are you guys like excited for a later pick? Do you want an early pick? Like, what are you guys thinking before?
So I think this is a similar thing where it's not like the number one. Like it probably is general publicly, but I think with like a good assortment of 5 picks, you can still end up on top. I don't think it makes too much of a difference. I think it kind of depends really on Ryan and Dev where they go. If they're in the middle and they kind of take all the ones I want, then it might be a little difficult.
I'm not looking forward to back-to-backs here. Like, I would prefer to be in the middle. Like, I don't want a back-to-back on this.
Yeah, I think we all came up with a quite long list, so I think we'll have enough no matter what. But okay, so we've got the order, and wow, can't wait for this. So number 4, we've got Shahan.
Oh man!
I mean, you had like the number 1 pick the past few times, so I guess it's your turn to
not get helpful.
Well, you got Tom Brady. You can't complain.
It should not have worked out that way.
Okay, and number 3 we've got Dev, and number 2 we've got Ryan, and that means with the number 1 pick, it's your boy. I think right here the people that probably get the best are probably me and Dev, like right around Ryan. So we probably get something to slip to us. But yeah, let's get this party started. So the strategy here is to obviously choose the ones we love. We're not trying to pander to anyone, but the whole strategy of the game is try to choose what other people might choose ahead of time, and hopefully yours slip. So with that said, I'm gonna take something right here that I think will get a lot of votes. I'm gonna take The Office. It's probably like a top 5 show for me. I know Shahan specifically loves the show and is his number 1. But I know Ryan and Shahan both watch the show, so I think I did take it right here. It's a great show. You got 9 seasons. Michael Scott, Dwight Schrute, 2 of the greatest characters on TV of all time. Even when Michael Scott left, it dipped a little bit, but it was still just as entertaining. So I have my comedy right here. Very happy with that. So yeah, I'm gonna take The Office and be very happy.
I think that's just a solid pick. Like,
I think, yeah, when you look, obviously I'm single, so I'm on dating apps all the time. So I was like, oh, what's your favorite TV show? A lot of people say The Office. But, just in general, I think it's a little dangerous. I think someone was going to take it, so I had to take it right here. But I think it's a solid pick for sure.
Listen, first of all, I do think that there is a lot of pander in this right now. I think that, you jump on here and you're like, I picked The Office, Michael Scott, Dwight Schrute, those are 2 characters.
You got Aaron, you've got Kelly Kapoor, you've got Ryan.
Well, we don't have time. We got 20 picks. We can't like go into.
No, I'm just saying, like, I've seen probably the whole show like 3 times in a row, totally, which is not like compared to like other people I know for sure. But I watch a lot of TV. But still,
Hey, the
I'm not
reason-
pandering here.
You watched the
Like,
show 3 times. you
like
can
I said,
see it.
it's a top 5 show for me. It's not number 1, but I knew you would probably take it before I could go back to it. So I had to take it
Well,
here.
I just feel bad for Ryan because I know that he was excited to take Rainn Wilson since he's Baha'i and all, but what you gonna do?
All right,
Right,
Ryan,
he is-
what's your pick?
My pick, I'm taking Seinfeld with the number 2 pick.
Knew
Seinfeld,
it.
One of the all-time greatest shows ever to be produced. Funny. I've watched it since I was born. It's been there since I've been born. Reruns are still priceless. Still one of the best shows to watch. Always get a laugh from it. Seinfeld definitely my number 1. The only show I've actually watched every episode of.
Wow.
I've never seen an episode.
I have not
You
seen a single
never, you never
episode
like
either.
turned on the TV and Seinfeld's
No.
on. Like it's
So,
funny.
I don't know
It's a
how
great
that
show.
I know that I'd love it. I do know
Yeah.
that for certain. I've just never watched it.
I do plan on watching it at some point. I've never actually seen a full episode. It's
Yeah.
mostly like when I watched 2.5 Men right after Seinfeld was coming on or something like that. Never actually watched an episode though.
It's
What's
a good
the
show,
deal
though,
with
of, like,
lamps?
it's one of those few shows where you can just watch any episode. You don't need context
Yeah.
for the show. You know, you
Yeah.
can just watch it. So I like it for that reason. For me, with the number 3 pick, this is a really recent show, so there's probably a little bit of recency bias here. But one of my favorite shows of all time, I'm gonna take BoJack Horseman.
Fuck,
So,
fuck, dude.
Oh,
Dude, okay,
man.
time out. It's so
Damn
unfair.
it.
Just like 2 months ago, I hung out with Dev and I introduced him to BoJack
I have
Horseman.
since watched the show 3 full times since then.
Yeah, which is
Oh.
crazy. It's only been like 2 months.
I know.
One night I was like, Dev, you need to check out the show. The final episode's coming out, and this sucks. That was definitely one of my shows I was gonna take next.
I tell you about BoJack, Ashish.
I
I'm
think
sure I
I
told
think
you.
that she
You
said
definitely
Sean
watched it for me.
introduced
Yeah, for sure. I heard it from a few people, and I was like, dude, The Office and BoJack Horseman were the 2 shows I was like, one of you guys is probably gonna take for sure.
Oh,
Well, so it's not a pander pick because it's really become my favorite show. It's my go-to watch on Netflix. Like when I turn on Netflix you can ask my roommate, like the show that's on is probably BoJack Horseman. So like it's not a pander pick or anything. I love the show. I mean, there's not many shows that get as real as this without it's one of those. If you've watched it, you know. If you haven't watched it, you gotta watch it. Like it's just one of those shows. It's mandatory.
You have to watch it. Like for sure, give it a shot. It's like each season is like spectacular, and I mean, I think what I love the most is like the stuff in the background you might not catch the first time watching it, but like all the jokes they have going on in the background is just genius. And I think Will Arnett is a great actor and definitely one of the best voice actors of all time. And Alison Brie as well is like an amazing actress.
The only
But,
thing is
dude,
having like not like watching Community now is weird because I see Diane every time I hear Alison Brie's voice. So like it's become like really weird to watch another one of my favorite shows now. But all right, what's next?
So we've got Shahan with the 4th pick right here.
I'm so angry right now because it's not only being angry about this, which I obviously am, like losing out on BoJack. It's also anger knowing that I have to pick 2 right now, and something else that I really want is about to disappear too. Like, oh man, I am not happy. I'm
About
not
the
happy.
4th pick. You're like,
Oh, this is like the worst draft for me to have the 4th pick. Whatever. I'm still gonna beat you guys. I don't care. Number 1, I'm taking Breaking Bad. I think that's a very easy pick. I think that was, one that I thought that maybe I'd get lost and not be able to come back to. But, when you're talking about dramas, I think that this is on the short list for greatest dramas of all time. Obviously you're talking Aaron Paul, another guy who's in BoJack Horseman, of course. Like it's a fantastic show. I don't always like shows that are like that, but it's just such a well done show that for me, I really think this is a super easy pick. This is where it gets interesting, right? There's a lot of different directions I could go with this. God, I'm so mad. This ruined the whole freaking draft for me. I'm ready to rage quit right now.
I don't blame you, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, this was in my mind. The first 2 picks in my mind, I was like, I have to take The Office and
Office and
BoJack because I
BoJack,
knew
yeah.
Dev was watching it recently and watched it at least twice, and I knew Shahan loved the show too. So I get you right here.
Oh man, this sucks. This really truly sucks.
And Shahan, I told you this is the one show that I really thought could crown you was Breaking Bad. I knew you loved that show, and I knew it's definitely one of the best shows of all time. I've only seen 2 seasons though, which is why
I gave up on the show after the Fly episode, but I was watching it like week to week at that point. So I have not gone back. I'm sure it's great. If I go back, I'll enjoy the show. But like watching week to week when that Fly episode came out, I was done.
No,
Like I was like, I'm not
It
watching
was a
this week.
conceptual episode. I mean,
no,
I
no.
understand.
I think there's only 5 seasons, and they're amazing. My issue was when I started watching it, the 5th season was coming out, so I was very rushed into it, which is why I never finished it completely. But yeah, definitely I've heard it's like usually actually everyone's number one greatest show of all time. So
Actually, we're just giving Shahan more time to think of another show.
No, I mean, it's not really about thinking about it. I mean, I think I'm down to 2 shows. This is hard because I just feel like I have to figure out the value versus like what mine would be, right? So I think I'm gonna go for the value pick here. I'm gonna go Parks and Rec.
fuck,
Oh,
no,
that was my next pick.
bro.
Yeah.
That's
So again, I mean, fantastic ensemble of characters, like maybe the best ensemble of characters of any show. I mean, like it's that and The Office are the two. I really think that the thing that is strongest about Parks and Rec is that they have never, like, after season 1 ended and they kind of changed the direction of the show, they never missed again, right? Like every episode from there was a strong episode. I don't think it has the highs of some of the other shows, but like it is one of the most solid shows out there. It's one that you can always turn on and watch. It's great background noise. It's great to pay attention to. I mean, I think that I'm still very annoyed that I didn't get the.
To me, Parks and Rec has one of the like elite, like actually, because there's some endings where they don't wrap things up. Like Parks and Rec wrapped up everything in their ending, and they did it well. Like it was one of the few that like they wrapped it up and it was like well done.
Yeah. And I like that, right? Because, I mean, I think that there's a lot of ways to end a show. Like, I mean, and ending a sitcom is especially hard, I think, because I think that is the sort of situation where you do want to leave everybody feeling good and not like, oh, what happened? And that was the cool thing about Parks and Rec is that they really did wrap up everybody. And like, there's some shows where you're like, oh, I wish I had more. Like Parks and Rec, obviously I'd watch more episodes, but I don't feel like every day like, oh man, I just wish that it had gone differently. I wish I knew. Like, I think that Parks and Rec is a very good self-contained unit.
7 seasons, right size, like it's good.
it's hard, bro. That was actually one of my favorite shows of all time.
Yeah.
If I was later pick like the 3rd or 4th, I'd probably take that first. They're coming out with a one standalone episode, which I'm very excited for.
Yep.
But like you said, great cast, dude. Rashida Jones, all these Amy Poehler, Aziz Ansari, the guy who
Scott.
Adam Scott, Ron Swanson is like one of the top
Nick
characters of all
Offerman.
time. But yeah, dude, that actually flows. I'm actually a little hurt. You took it right
What's
there.
it? Oh, Rob Lowe.
Yeah,
Rob Lowe.
Yeah.
Actually, one of the shows that didn't get canceled that he was on. So good, really good right there.
Mark Brandanowitz, just all.
Chris Pratt, bro.
Yeah, you were saying like they didn't miss
Aubrey
that.
Plaza.
Aubrey Plaza, yeah. Dude, these names are huge. My brother used to watch them. We used to watch them like when we were watching lunch or eating dinner together. We just turn on an episode. I got into it. I'm actually rewatching it now during this whole period right now. It's the 4th time I'm watching it through. I love the show. Really hurt right here. But all right, Dev, you're up.
So I'm gonna go with one. I'm not sure if it was on other people's boards. This is my absolute favorite show of all time, bar none. But I'm not sure. Here it is, right here. Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Ooh.
So to me, like when it comes to, and I guess I got the problem of I have 2 animated shows now, but I don't really care. When it comes to shows like that have an arc, teach a message, and are entertaining, you can't beat the show. Like the arc is phenomenal, the characters are great, and it's like a kid. Like this is for all ages. Like there's no downsides to the show to me. This is just an amazing show, and it's coming back to Netflix. Fun fact.
Is it?
Yeah, May 14th. Maybe when this episode comes out, it'll already be on Netflix.
Well, I think that wasn't on my list, but growing up, I guess watching that show was like fantastic. You had everything. You had the action, you had the story, the background stories, and all the messages and values and stuff. Very cool show, very cool pick. Not expected right here, but I get it. And Ryan,
I'm not sure if you guys watched it, but it's my favorite show of all time. I'm not picking it.
I watched the whole thing. It is very good for sure. I even watched the Korra, I guess, the one that came out after. But that's pretty decent too. But no, very very cool show. I think I don't know. I'm glad you chose something you love for sure.
I have a very strong opinion on why Korra is trash, but that we're not going to get into that.
Okay.
So,
Sounds good. Well, we've got Ryan up next, who's been so quiet ever since he chose Seinfeld. What are you thinking about?
Second pick. I love this show. It's a very recent show, but it's a very popular big show right now. The Masked Singer.
The Masked Singer. What?
I love it.
I have no comments
We
on the
really
Masked
didn't
Singer.
know.
I've
I
never
don't
seen
think we
it.
had any idea what Ryan was gonna choose, but this is like even out of my mind.
was
I
laughing
think he,
at hard.
I have zero comments on that pick. Let's just move on.
It's a great show.
I mean, I've heard great things about the
let's talk
show,
about
and
it.
It's a mystery show. You got Ken Jeong, who's one of the judges. Hilarious. It singing, trying to figure out who it is. I love it. It's very entertaining.
who else are
So
the
what
other
is the
judges?
concept? Can you explain the concept?
And it's one of the only shows that is actually producing episodes during this quarantine because they pre-recorded it.
Oh, yeah. So no, Dev, the show is someone is like dressed up in a huge ass costume, like you don't know who it is,
Like a famous
and they
person?
bring like athletes, singers, celebrities, and they sing, and the judges have to guess who it is.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's a cool concept.
and they've had like really cool people on there for sure. Like, unfortunately, some have been spoiled for me, but I know like Lil Wayne was on there. I think, right? Did you watch that one, Ryan?
Yeah, Lil Wayne.
Nick Oladipo.
And wasn't
Like, wouldn't
T-Pain
you
on
just
there
be able
too?
to tell Lil Wayne's voice immediately? Like he's
No,
got the
but
most.
he actually sang, right? Like someone like T-Pain, I think, was on there, and he didn't use autotune, so no one knew.
Gotcha.
Pt.1.
And they don't sing their songs; they sing like
Spoiler
whoever
alert.
they loved.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I mean, wow, very interesting pick right there. Didn't expect that at all, but yeah, at least you're getting fresh episode right now. And okay, so that goes back to me. Man, there's a lot of good ones right here. A lot of good ones taken already. So I think I'm gonna go with a classic. I'm gonna take Friends. That's probably the first like sitcom I watched, and I watched it so many times. You know, the whole cast: Joey, Chandler, Ross, Phoebe, Rachel, Monica. You know, you love these guys. You grew up with them. They actually had 10 full seasons. They have a standalone special coming soon. I just really love the show. And before I even got into The Office and How I Met Your Mother, I just kept watching Friends over and over again. I really love that show. So I think it's pretty good pick right here. I was a little worried Ryan was going to take it a little bit later on. So yeah, I'm okay with it.
Not on my board at all.
I
I
like
mean-
Friends. I like Friends. I think it's a good show.
Yeah. Fuck you, Sean, dude. All right, see, what happened is our generation kind of grew up with other similar shows.
Yeah.
I just watched Friends first and just loved that way more than everything else competing with it. But I get it why you could hate it, but I really don't. I'm happy with your.
It's gotten a lot of like backlash recently. Like it's gotten more hate recently than
I mean,
it used to, because it used to be really beloved. I don't know what changed.
so I think the
But-
issue was people started watching it and they're like, "Wow, there's only 6 white people and everyone else is just basically white." They bring like Aisha Taylor for like a couple episodes and that was it. So I think that's why I got some
Yeah, well,
backlash there.
The thing is that any show, because I actually do enjoy Friends. Like it definitely wasn't kind of on this board for me, but like, you know, it's one that you can watch just all the time. I mean, there's no problem. And I think that, you know, we're starting to see this with The Office too. Is like when people have liked a show for long enough, they try to find reasons why they might not like it. And like, I mean, there's a lot of dumb things about the premises of Friends, but obviously, like, it's a good show and it's fun to watch.
I think one of the biggest things people hate, they're like, how are these women like affording this big ass apartment in New York City, right? Like, that's one of the biggest things. I was like, this is stupid.
all
It's a
of them
TV show.
affording
Like,
anything.
I feel like people sometimes like, especially with sitcoms, they put too much like stock. Like it's a TV show. You gotta remember, it's a show. Like not everything's gonna make sense, you know. Like,
I think that we just all have contempt for the idea that anybody can live in New York, like that anybody can afford to do so.
All right,
Right.
what's the next show, Ashish? I don't want
Oh,
to talk too long
wow.
about each show. We're gonna run way too
Oh,
long.
you know what? Dude, I totally forgot about something, but right here, I'm just gonna take it. I'm gonna take 2.5 Men. Dude, I just thought about it. I was like, oh yeah, before Seinfeld, I was watching 2.5 Men. Dude, we love that show. Me and Dev love that show. We talk about it all the time. The one with Ashton Kutcher kind of sucked, so I kind of didn't watch all of it. But with Charlie Sheen, bro, he was carrying that thing. It was one of the best shows of all time and just hilarious.
Yeah, I have all of the episodes with Charlie Sheen. I've not watched like pretty much any of the Ashton Kutcher episodes. I don't even know what they did. But
Yeah. No, it's super trash. Um, but yeah, I just remember, dude, this just came to my mind. I didn't even have it written down. Just talking to you, I was
That's a
just like,
snipe pick from me because I was ready to take that next.
dude, I was just like, dude, what? That was a show I really watched so much. So I'm glad I took it here. But yeah, me and Dev loved the show, and we used to talk about it, and we actually watched a few episodes together too. So I'm okay with it right here. And Ryan, that puts you back on the board.
Oh, I'm excited for this pick. It's a fantastic show. Chopped. Anybody seen it?
Oh, I love Chopped. It wasn't
I
like
know it's an amazing show.
Oh, man,
Give
what an
4 random ingredients.
Bro,
Get something out of it. Great judges. Sometimes they compete. Get delicious dishes. It's fun to watch. Drama, comedy, everything in one show. Best show ever.
no, very good,
Talk
dude.
about
The-
Third pick is a great third pick.
Yeah, no, that's actually a really good pick. Like, I love cooking shows. There's like Bobby Flay I used to love watching. Actually, I watch too much HGTV and cooking shows in general, but Chopped is like one of the best. All the judges are like Iron Chef, like masters or whatever. And dude, the special ingredient they get, you're like, what the fuck? How are you gonna put Skittles in your meal? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, how are you gonna put this in here? And you know, the cutaway, they're like, they're lifting the thing, they're telling who's chopping. Oh, it cuts the commercial. You come back, you're like, who the fuck got chopped? And I don't know how they record the show. Like, do the people go after the whole thing and talk over it? Like,
Yeah,
this is what
I'm
I was
pretty sure they
thinking.
do it after the voice things are completely after the fact.
Right, which is like so tough. I'm like, all these losers want to like actually discuss
back.
how they lost.
It's part of the
But,
show.
I mean, no, I mean it's great. It's a great show. I was just very confused. I was like, I'm trying to find ways to find out who won. But
It's a good, yeah. You do try to like read into the way they're talking about it to see if you can figure out who's gonna win.
right,
Like,
no,
it's,
but
it's a
they have some really good episodes, like the redemption one. All the losers compete, and then they have the challenge bracket for all the winners. It's a very good show, Ryan. I'll give you
yeah,
credit for that.
I big props for that. Cooking shows were not. I didn't put a single one on my list. That's the best cooking show to me. Chop. Like, okay, well, there's only one other thing on my list that I'm afraid will be taken, so I'm going to take it here, even though it's probably 4th or 5th on my overall list, and that's Sherlock. So I'm not sure if you guys watched it, but I think it's a phenomenal show. Like, it's just mystery, the way it works, the way it's set up and done. I love that they adapted the books for a modern theme, even though they have that one episode where they go back to like the old timey. But I just think it's well done, really well made show, and it's basically like getting 12 movies. So great show.
And this is the BBC version of like the Sherlock Holmes series, which I heard was like much better than Elementary and stuff. That main actor is Benedict Cumberbatch, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I haven't seen an episode, but I've heard really good things about it.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. I highly recommend. Everyone should probably go through it at least once. It's a good show.
All right. Well, I think that puts Shahan back on the board.
Whew, I was a little worried, because this show has come to the forefront of kind of what's going on right now because it just dropped on Netflix. Community.
Yeah.
So, once we started mentioning Alison Brie and Ken Jeong, I'm like, is this going to incept some stuff into people's brains? But thankfully it did not. So here's the deal with Community, right? Because somebody asked the question the other day, The Office, Parks and Rec, Community, rank them, right? And so the thing for me, right, is that Community, if you were to list all of the episodes of those 3 shows front to back, Community might have like the top 8 episodes. Like its highs are incredible. Right, like just unmatched TV, right? And like a great ensemble of characters too. Incredible talent on that show. I mean, Ken Jeong, Chevy Chase, Donald Glover before he was really a thing, Alison Brie early in her career. Like it is insane, right? John Oliver was in the first couple of seasons. It's just a ridiculously talented show. The only thing about it is that its lows are very low. Like, especially like season 6.
Have you been watching recently? Like, I've started going through it again, and like the lows are really bad, man. Like,
but those first 3 seasons, when you have the whole cast, when you got all the writers, when when the showrunner's still the same, like it is peak television. Like it is among the best television that's ever been made. So and for me it was a personal favorite. It's actually the first show that I ever watched like premiere to end, like live when it was coming out. And so I had to sit through the whole, will it be canceled every single year? Like they literally did that after every single season. They tried to cancel the show. It is a phenomenal show. And okay, so it gets tough now, right? Because I have a lot of names left on my list, most of which I don't think that any of you guys would consider taking. But I have to say that I think that there's a drop off in my mind after this point. Where we're going from like truly, truly elite television to like really, really, really good television, right? Okay, let's see. Looking at my
and
board.
I think like Shahan was saying, just saying, like these are like the major ones we all talked about. I mean, Ryan's are kind of out there, but still, just in general, like there's a major list of like the major TV shows, and now it's kind of like specialized what we personally like, probably that no one else liked. And note on Community, I've never seen an episode. I do plan on watching it soon since it's on Netflix, but that's why it wasn't on my list. I've heard though that The Office and Community had higher highs, but Parks and Rec never had lower lows.
Parks and Rec is just more consistent than both of them.
Well, the thing is about Parks and Rec is that like it's just such a, and this is not a negative, this is just true, is that it's a very formulaic show, and the formula works every time. Like it's sort of the same deal with like Friends, right? Where it's like you just watch every episode and it's never really bad. But like again, I mean, what's the best episode of Parks and Rec is really the flip side of that, right? Like I mean, the finale is really good, but like there's not really an episode.
The Stakeout.
Yeah, the Stakeout's really good, but like. Again, I mean, there are many, many episodes of The Office and Community that I'd rank ahead of that, So I mean, but that's a preference thing.
Speaking of Community too, like Abed is just like a show writer's dream because they can like do anything they want with Abed in any episode, like the true show writer's dream. Like
it is fantastic. If you haven't seen it before, again, it's just dropped on Netflix. It is must-watch television. Okay, let's see where I'm going here. So I've got some options that are like critically acclaimed. I've got some options that are stuff that I enjoyed. I've got some sitcoms. I've got some dramas. I've got a couple of like documentary style. Like this is really hard. This is really, really hard. I thought that I'd need a few more names than what I actually need. I'm not going to overthink it. I'm going to go with one of the greatest shows in the history of television, and that's The Simpsons. So the Simpsons, again, early Simpsons is as good television as you're ever going to get. And it's another show that's very formulaic, and so the formula is starting to get a little stale now after like 35 years or whatever. Man, if you go back to those early episodes, there's a reason that this show has been a staple on the air since the 1980s, right? Like that, there's a reason that it's older than all of us. And that's because the characters are great. They give you an opportunity to kind of build your own world in there. The side characters, I think, are elite side characters. I mean, I think that's really the strength of the show is sort of the supporting world that they give it. And again, I mean, you literally have 30 seasons, and same deal, right? Like the not very good episodes are nowhere near as good as the best episodes, but because it's so formulaic, like the bad episodes aren't really that bad. They're kind of just normal, right? And so for me, I think that The Simpsons is again one of the greatest shows of all time, the longest running animated show in the history of television, and to me, my fourth choice.
I mean, like you said, there's obviously a reason it's running so long. It's like the longest running show of all time. I saw a commercial where now, like on Disney Plus, you can watch all the seasons. I'm like, okay, that's crazy.
And like FX does it every year, right?
They do it every moment, man.
Yeah.
It's
They do
constant
it a lot.
But like you said, like really good cast. I think the crazy thing is like if you look at the voice actors, how many voices they actually do, that's just intense. Like I know someone's doing like 20 voices. I'm like, how are you doing this? And like you said, the side characters, Apu, Sideshow Bob, those are like classic characters for sure.
Doesn't like the Family Guy do like almost all the voices, and like the guy who does the main? Yeah,
he does.
He does a lot of. He does like three main voices.
Yeah, interesting.
And then a bunch of side characters.
Yeah. I know people talked about that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so you talked about how you didn't think there was like elite TV shows left. We had gone. So there's one show that I knew would not get picked by any of you that I consider elite television, and that is Gilmore Girls, and I'm gonna take it here. So I know none of you guys would pick it. It's not the same like audience. Like I don't think it would like it's not made for like an Ashish, right? Or a Shahan. Like it's not made for us. But like to me, it's elite television, and I love the show. Absolutely adore it. Lorelai is just like an amazing inspiration. Obviously, like pretty much any TV show, like the best characters have to have flaws. Like she's a flawed character, and that's what flaws drive TV show. But like truly inspiring, raising a daughter on her own, and what she does, it's like amazing. Like I really recommend everyone watch Gilmore Girls. I think it's phenomenal.
Yeah, I don't have any comments. But yeah, didn't they come out with a new season or a couple seasons just recently?
Yeah, they're okay. I would definitely not watch them if you haven't seen the show. I would not watch the reboots, but
I think we're good on that front. I don't think I have any intentions of watching that show. But okay, interesting.
All I'm gonna say is like I really think you're missing out by not watching it. I think it's that good. Like it's one of the shows that like is on the level of shows that you would miss out by not watching it just because of the typical audience that you expect.
Yeah. Have you ever seen it, Ryan? No. Have you seen any of the shows that we mentioned recently?
Ryan, you got to talk. It's a podcast.
Now you have a huge list of shows to watch, and you can get back to us about it. Okay, Dev, that's an interesting pick right there. So it goes back to Ryan now?
Oh, it's my turn. So this one, I like this show. It's been on for a long, long, long time. Don't quote me, but I think since sometime in the 90s. But whose line is it anyway? I love that show. It's an improv show. In the background, good comedians, good singers. You got Wayne Brady. He won the Masked Singer. Spoiler alert. Great singer. Great talent. It's a great show. Whether you're watching the Drew Carey episodes on ABC or the episodes on CW, and it never gets old, and you can watch the clips. I just think it's a good laugh. And it's been on for a while, so there's reason why it's been on for so long.
Yeah, no, it's a very fun sketch comedy. The way they just like come up with these ideas and coming on the spot, very spontaneous. And I think you're right on CW. I think Aisha Taylor's the judge now. But yeah, no, I definitely watched quite a few episodes of that, and it's very entertaining. Have you guys seen it, Dev, Shahan?
Oh, I have never seen it.
You guys are missing out. It's a good show. Okay, well, I guess I'll choose my picks right here. The issue is there's three shows that I really love, huge part of my life, and I can only choose two. Okay,
you can give me back 2.5 Men.
I should have just let you had it, dude. I'm really upset that I'm gonna miss one of these. So I'll take Game of Thrones right here. I wasn't worried about you guys taking it because Han's never watched it. I wasn't sure if Dev has seen it, and I kind of knew Ryan hasn't seen it. Instinctively I knew it. The last season kind of was total trash. But dude, the whole episode, each episode that came out, you're just so entertained by it. I just love that, like, sword fighting, all these families, clans fighting each other. The dragons were a bit much, but I think just the quality of it was spectacular, and the whole storylines were just amazing. So I had to take it here, and I'm gonna double down right here and take Curb Your Enthusiasm. Larry David's a genius. I mean, that's one reason I kind of want to watch Seinfeld, just because one of the characters was based off him. But if you haven't seen Curb Your Enthusiasm, please check it out. It's like so hilarious. It's kind of things I can relate to any given day. And I think Larry David's just a complete genius, and I love that show.
I think that this is all really about Ashish flexing that he can afford HBO.
At some point, dude. Oh crap, dude. Okay, we're gonna have some honorable mentions.
Yeah, we'll do
of course.
Shows for sure.
I got
like 20.
24. So.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Great. Well, I guess we'll end with that, and I'm happy with my cast right here of the 5, and we'll see what you guys do right here. All right, Ryan, you're back. What do you got for us?
This is a tough one, because I got 3 shows on my mind that are all kind of different. One more sports, one more drama, one more news related. I don't know which way to go, because I took the ones that I watch more, because I thought it was supposed to be the ones that we watch.
No, you're doing good. You're drafting good, Ryan.
Ryan, we said any TV. And you're actually mentioning ones like I said, Chopped is like one of the best shows of all time.
Yeah, like,
it just didn't occur to me that I watched it so much, and that's why I didn't write it. But dude, you're killing it. We're doing what we love. It might not be what everyone loves, but your picks are really good, Ryan. I wouldn't worry about that.
I'm gonna have to go to the drama medical route on this last one. I like this show. It's a good doctor. I'm gonna put that as my last one. I haven't seen too many episodes, but I saw the first few of the first season, and I just like it's a unique spin on and it's a medical world, the drama, you have relationship in there, got the life of Sean, the doctor there. I think it's just an interesting show. You got the drama, the medical, the relationship. I enjoyed it. I think it's a good watch. Keeps you involved with it.
Yeah, it's still on TV right now, right? They still come out.
Wait, what was the actual name of the show?
Episodes. The Good Doctor.
The Good Doctor. Okay, I've never seen it.
Yeah, I've seen some commercials for it. Have you ever
seen
my mom
House? Watches it.
Right?
Yeah.
I really thought you were gonna go with House when you were talking about the medical
House.
stuff. I was like, oh, yeah. that's actually a really good show.
Yeah.
And New Amsterdam, I think, is a new good show, anyways. But okay, I haven't seen the show. I'm not huge into medical shows. I get queasy looking at all the blood and the surgeries and stuff. So it's not.
My mom watches it and she says it's a good show. So, like, I just haven't seen it.
Yeah, just good there, Ryan.
All right, so like I kind of separated my list into like two piles, like one of my like actual favorites, and then one I thought like people would get sniped, and like one of my absolute favorite shows is still on the board, and that's How I Met Your Mother. Now I know it's like one of those shows that's gotten a lot of backlash lately, but when it was coming out, like everyone knew when the episodes were. Everyone sat around to watch it. Like it was an event to watch How I Met Your Mother. And obviously the last season kind of put a damper on it, but really you're still talking about, what I think there's 7 seasons. So you're really still talking about 6 phenomenal seasons of TV to me. So,
I think it's 9, isn't it?
Is it 9?
I think it's 9.
So like you just take out the last season, like whatever we're talking about, you still got plenty of great seasons.
So here's the only issue, right? Is that like there's having bad finales. Like I mean, from what I hear, like Game of Thrones struggled with its finale. The issue that I have with How I Met Your Mother's finale and final season is that it completely undercuts the entire show, right?
Yeah,
like
that's the big problem,
right? Because like that's the thing is like it's one thing if it's like that didn't end, the person who I wanted didn't become in charge or anything, and it's like another thing to be like, actually the show was not about the mother at all. That was just an entire smokescreen for Ted to try to sleep with Robin, right? Like
it was. Yeah, I agree. Like the whole idea. So like to me, the alternate ending where they just didn't do any of that, like they just end with the mom living and like nothing happens. Like that's a perfectly like a much better ending, and that's the ending like I've canonized in my head because I agree. Like
if they want to acknowledge that the mom died, I think that that's fine too, right? Yeah. And that's the reason that he's telling the story. But like the issue is that then they take the step of being like, oh, actually his best friend he wanted to be with this whole time.
I think it's one of those times where like when you plan an ending, you can't always just go with what you planned. Because like if they had planned that ending and done it in a 3-4 season arc, it would have been okay. It would have been a good ending, honestly. But when you get to 7, 9, 8, 9 seasons and you're so in love with these characters, you can't just undercut your ending like that.
Well, and
you've got to rewrite it.
Season 9 especially, it was just so moment by moment. And the things with it too is that with the mother, it's just so much build up to them meeting. And then the other thing too is that the whole season 9 arc, and actually just the entire everything, is that it's supposed to also be about the development of Barney as a character. Yeah. And you just throw that all away immediately, right? Yeah. Like in the first 5 minutes of the finale. And it's just hard. It's hard to go back and watch.
Okay, so yeah, that's why I prefer Friends. I watched it first while everyone was like loving How I Met Your Mother. First of all, I'm shocked it actually lasted this long. I really thought it would be taken ahead of time.
It's the finale, man. It's like one episode ruined the whole show.
Yeah, but see, that's why I like Friends. Like they actually did like 10 full seasons and they ended it really well. Whereas like How I Met Your Mother, I watched through, and yeah, season 9 was just like crazy. Like at the end of season 8, you get a glimpse of the mom. You're like, okay, they're gonna talk about a lot about the mom in season 9. Season 9 was stupid. They had the episode with like the ninja stuff, and Barney is like, what the hell was this?
Yeah, they went on so many tangents, and
and you barely got the mother at all. And it's just like, what?
And she's awesome. Like when you get her, she's so good. Like
yeah,
she's
she's a good actress, and you're interested. You just barely get glimpses. It was the stupidest thing for sure. And then all of a sudden she dies. That last episode, Barney and Robin, they got married. That was like build up in the season 9. But that just got shit down in like 1 minute.
If you want to talk about like peaks of television, though, like How Your Mother Met Me, which is in season 9,
it's
to
really
me one of the best episodes of TV that exists. Like,
right.
So it does like, yeah. I think we've talked enough about How I Met Your Mother.
yeah. We don't have to relitigate the whole ending all over again.
But Friends was better. I'm just saying it.
I think that How I Met Your Mother's highs were better than Friends' highs to me.
Yeah, probably. But overall, Friends shits on it. All right.
I think that.
What's your pick?
I think that How I Met Your Mother is also one that that hasn't aged as super well as some of the others.
Leaving Netflix hurt it, like the public perception of it a lot.
Wait, Ryan, what did you say real quick?
I said, Shahan, what's your final pick?
Okay. There we go. Getting to it. All right.
So I've got the last pick, of course. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go through some of my honorable mentions first. So I had a lot left on my board, right? So if I hadn't have gotten Breaking Bad, I would have taken Better Call Saul. It's been a fantastic show. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Absolutely fantastic show. Absolutely fire show. Last Chance U, that was one that if I had to kind of go a little bit off board, Last Chance U, I think has been a tremendous show. The Good Place is definitely one that I considered very, very high, but it's like, again, you just get through all of these and you're like, well, I mean,
it's not wrapped up. The Good Place's problem is like, I would have been on my board if it's done, you know? Like,
yeah. And so Arrested Development was another one that I wasn't sure if anybody else was going to take, that I just absolutely love. The other couple, Saturday Night Live, Barry, and I really enjoy the... What?
Save some for the rest of us out here.
All right, that's fine. What's your pick?
Right.
Or you haven't chosen my shows.
And then one other that if it had gone more than 2 seasons would have definitely been on my board is Master of None. But the one that I'm going to go with is one that you guys have probably not seen, but it is a tremendous, tremendous show. We actually just started watching it during quarantine, and we got through it so quickly. I literally was addicted to keeping going on this show. This Is Us. So
I've seen it, yeah.
It is so freaking good. Like, it is unbelievable. So basically the storyline is, it starts out as being about a family, but then it just like works through like every level of human emotion, basically. And like, I do not cry during TV shows or movies. Like, I just never do. And I probably cried 6 times watching this show because they just do everything so well. They talk about adoption. They talk about race issues. They talk about weight issues. They talk about, sibling dynamics. They talk about family dynamics. They talk about trauma. Like, it is a shockingly complete TV show. And, they just do it so well. There was a storyline in season 3 that I wasn't totally all about, but I think that they just do it so well, and I think that it is one of the best things going on TV right now.
So my experience with This Is Us is my mom loves the show. She told me, you have to watch it. I watched the first episode. I was in tears for like an hour. And I said, I'm not watching the show. Like, so I've not watched the show because of that. That first episode was so good, it made me not watch the show. Like, that's how good the episode was.
I understand. I mean, and there are like 5 or 6 episodes that are just like, this might be the best media ever created, and it's just so good. They just tie it all together. It's actually great, and Deb knows this because they like jump timelines a lot. So it tells the story about them, and then also goes into the past to talk about their parents, and then even like they jump around in the past a whole lot to kind of give backstory and kind of build these characters, and it is fucking phenomenal.
One of the guys in that TV show, he's a lead actor in Art of Racing in the Rain, and no wonder that movie's emotional.
Yeah.
Which actor's that?
It's the
I
guy.
think it's the guy that has the YouTube workout thing.
Yeah. The dad in the show plays a significant role in Gilmore Girls too. Fun.
I haven't seen the show. I've heard really good things about it, and like because of what Dev said, I know a lot of people cry while watching it. That's why I've kind of avoided watching it until I get, I get a bucket of ice cream and watch it or something. But I definitely do want to check it out. And yeah, so let's discuss, Dev, any other honorable mentions you got?
I'm just gonna go real quick through my list. Before I say that, like, I just want to say, like, there's nothing wrong with crying at TV shows. It was just too emotional for me. Like, I just wasn't in a place to go through it. Like, I want to say, like, it was good that it made me cry. Like, I didn't consider that a bad thing. So,
Right,
yeah. Really quick,
You got to be in the headspace.
I'm just going through the rest of my list here. House of Cards, Stranger Things, Black Mirror, SpongeBob, Chappelle Show, the original Star Trek, It's Always Sunny, Big Bang Theory, Criminal Minds, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Tom and Jerry, Everybody Loves Raymond, and then the show I would have picked, but I can't pick a one season show is Firefly. Like, I just couldn't pick it because it's only one season, but it's just phenomenal one season of TV.
All right, those are some good names right there. Definitely have some similar ones. What about you, Ryan?
Hannah Montana.
Okay, no. What? What?
I think you got to put that on his board.
Yeah.
I love that show. I rewatched it actually
about?
with Disney Plus. It's good. It still holds up. It's still a good show.
Never watched.
Is Disney Plus worth it? I want to see The Mandalorian, and that's about it, to be
We
honest.
can talk about it after, but yeah, I think it's worth it because to me, owning all the Marvel movies basically through Disney Plus is worth it, like alone. So,
I mean, Hannah Montana was on all the time, but I never really watched it. The creepy thing was the brother was actually like 20 years older than everyone
like
else.
30 in the show.
Yeah, he's like 35, and everyone else is like 16. I'm like, what?
It's weird.
Okay, Ryan, what honorable mentions out here?
Mention Hannah Montana, Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, both in the hotel and on deck. That's a great show. Arthur on PBS.
I almost drafted Arthur. But there were just too many shows left.
Oh, I would have drafted this one. I didn't even think about Mr. Rogers. That is the greatest all-time show ever to be made. Mr. Rogers. I can't believe I didn't think of that. That would have been like one of my.
Clearly, it's not top 5.
Sports show. Were you considering drafting Sports Center? Because I thought about it after you had mentioned it. Like,
I thought he was gonna say NBA on TNT.
Yes, that was actually one of the ones I was gonna think. I thought about taking.
Too, Monday Night Football. First Take. Shout out to First Take. Blasphemy wasn't taken.
Undisputed is better than First Take.
Undisputed is pretty good.
What are we doing?
They're both trash, but Undisputed is better.
I want to give a shout out. This was only a 2-season show before it was canceled, but I like Dr. Ken with Ken Jeong, his own show. I thought it was a good show. Also, another one with Jerry Seinfeld that you might like, Comedians in Cars Drinking Coffee.
Yes, very good show. I mean, I don't know. I just think the episodes aren't long enough to actually discuss everything that they want to discuss. The clips are really good, but I just think it's too short. Okay,
I really loved Ryan's list, honestly. Like,
his honorable mentions are probably like some of the best. Arthur is one of the greatest shows of all time, dude. It was gonna be my 4th or 5th pick for sure.
We still watch it sometimes.
Dude, Arthur is just so good, and even like the halftime episodes where there's kids and they're discussing stuff and learning stuff.
It's a little weird watching those now and with like being an adult. That's the only thing. But it's
all time, all the values, dude. Just a fun show, and like I used to watch it coming back from school and going to school. All right,
that's what I was planning to be my last pick, but then like again, I just had so many left on my board.
Yeah.
We're definitely gonna draft some like kid shows growing up, so they'll definitely be taken.
Well, yeah, when we do kid shows, that would be a fun episode.
Dude, I hope I get the number 1 pick because it's Arthur for sure. Okay, some of you guys mentioned, but Dragon Ball Z, that was like the biggest thing for me growing up. Me and my brother loved that stuff. He even subscribed to the magazine, so we'd get posters every month, and he'd come to me sometimes. I'd hang up in my wall just like Muhammad Ali is doing right here. Best show. I loved that show so much. I wish I would have taken it. So we got Silicon Valley. I really love. Barry, you mentioned Master of None. SNL were considered
more HBO flexing, right?
Everybody Loves Raymond. That's like one show I used to watch with my parents, and we really loved together.
That's like I've always wanted to be Raymond. Like that was like a dream growing up to me. Like watching that show.
You just didn't want to be Robert.
Yeah.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, dude. That's one of the most underrated shows. I really love that show growing up. Big Bang Theory, you mentioned. Mad Men. It's really hard. Some people really hate it. I watched it all the way through, and I kind of enjoyed it. I think John Hamm's one of the best actors of all time. Yeah, and then Barry, dude. Barry is like one of the best shows of all time. Season 2, episode 5, I think it is. One of the greatest.
The chase episode.
The chase episode, dude. Please go watch that if you can. It is the most hilarious thing of all time.
It is absolutely insane.
Yes.
No, it is one thing which I always kind of love. It's like it takes like it's all taking place in the real world, but in this one episode, they're just like two things that happen that are like supernatural, but it's just like all in the context of the real world. And like, I just kind of love having that dichotomy where you just are like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, like it was just so surprising, like every turn. It was just so entertaining. I loved it. And I think the only other one is like anything on the cooking channels or HGTV. I really love that shit. You got House Hunters choosing these three. Okay, this is the stupidest show of all time. They choose like they look at three houses, they choose the best one. They never choose the one they want. They're like,
Yeah, I
we
know.
need something- we need
It makes me
something-
so mad.
they're like, we need something in our budget, good neighborhood, and you look at the end, they put check marks and X's, and they choose the one with like 2 X's. They're like, we can rebuild this thing. It's okay. It's worth it. Oh, this is way over our budget. Oh, it's okay.
It makes me so mad. People are so trash at picking houses. Like,
I'm just like, this is the stupidest thing. It doesn't match what you want. Anyways, Flip or Flop, Property Brothers, great stuff. Like Ryan took Chopped again, versus Bobby Flay or whatever. That was a really good show. He used to shit on all of his competition. It was really sad, but really good shows out here. This is a really long episode.
I forgot one show. I can't believe I forgot it. It would have been on my board if I remembered it. Shark Tank.
oh, great show.
I can't believe I forgot it. I would have chosen that. Oh my gosh.
You know what? We might have like another episode of another
Shows
draft.
We'll do another draft of drafts. Like the only thing off limit is ones that were picked in this draft.
Yes. We're definitely. I think we definitely need a part two, guys. We need a part two. There's way too many names left on here. But Shark Tank was so good. I used to watch it before Mark Cuban got on. The season 1, there's some random dude. He was not entertaining at all.
Kevin Harris or something.
Yeah, Mark Cuban took it to the next level, and now they have like guests and stuff coming in too. Awesome show. Awesome shows right here. Real quick, you got like 30 seconds. Tell me why you guys have the best list. Shahan, we'll start with you.
Yeah, so looking at this, I've got Breaking Bad, Parks and Rec, Community, The Simpsons, and This Is Us, right? So you've got arguably one of the, at worst, 3 greatest dramas of all time in Breaking Bad. Two shows that I didn't really consider because I haven't seen them are The Wire and The Sopranos. But with those 2 shows, it's Breaking Bad. That's the greatest dramas of all time. Parks and Rec, one of the greatest sitcoms of all time, one of the best ensemble casts. You look now back at sort of the people who are on that show, and they've all gone on to big things. Community, arguably even more so, right? Like, you had some people jump on right at the beginning. The highs of that show are peak television, like some of the greatest comedy episodes ever made, ever. The Simpsons, you're talking about longevity, right? You're kind of contrasting with those other 2. You're talking about a show that's been on the air for over 30 years, consistent characters, lots of content to choose from, consistent excellence, and you're dropping it off with This Is Us, which, again, I think is one of the best shows on television right now. I think I've got a diverse board. I think that I've got some stuff that you can easily watch. I think you've got some stuff, if you really want some high-quality television, you can watch. Look, I'm if I had BoJack, I would feel like I have almost a perfect board. Unfortunately, I don't, but I'm really close to having a perfect board.
Okay, Dev, your turn.
All right, well, so I'll just start right off with the one you mentioned. Like, to me, when you're talking about just the realest shows that like really, you watch a show, you sit there and you're like, man, like it really gets you thinking. Everything, BoJack Horseman to me, and in that same kind of vein, Sherlock. So Sherlock gets you really like thinking about all the details and really like considering the world. To me, you got the best kid show of all time, bar none, and that's Avatar: The Last Airbender, because you can watch it as a kid or as an adult, and it both it stands up. Great moral lessons, just really well made. Gilmore Girls to me is like just a truly inspiring. Like I really cannot talk about like how awesome the show is. Like if you've watched it, like you'll understand just how beautiful everything is. And Lorelai's just one of the most amazing, awe-inspiring characters. Like I'm constantly in awe of Lorelai. Like truly, like the dream to me. Like Lorelai's like the perfect woman. Like I love Lorelai. And the last show is How I Met Your Mother. Like amazing show to me. So just throw out the last season. We'll pretend it won't exist. But just a phenomenal show to me overall. But just a bad ending.
All right, those are some good picks. I think all the others had like amazing picks, even though they're different. Mm-hmm. They're just really good. Ryan, what do you got for us? Why do you have the best team? And name all 5, please.
I guess Seinfeld's timeless. Can watch it anytime, any episode, no context. Always a good laugh. Masked Singer, family show, fun. Watch it again anytime. Fun predicting it again, the family together. And then I got Chopped, the cooking show. You learn about cooking. Again, another good laughing show, some drama, some competition, some fun. And then Whose Lines It Anyway, another fun show. Improv comedy, good talent, good comedians, good singers. And lastly, Good Doctor, nice little drama show, medical twist. You can get a little entertainment and a little drama, maybe some tears. Not as much as This Is Us, but you can try.
All right, yeah, no, this is very. I think you have the most variety of anyone.
Yeah.
Like each episode, each show is just like totally different.
He has the most like just pick up a random episode shows. Like
Yeah, and like I said, like the most variety I think Ryan has because he has like a good sitcom. He has a great like Mass Singer is like a weekly show everyone loves. Chopped, one of the greatest shows of all time. Those are really good picks there, Ryan. Okay, so I'll discuss mine. I have The Office, which is like, come on, it's a classic. It's upper tier. It's kind of mixed in there with all the good sitcoms, and I really enjoy it. Then I added Friends, which is another sitcom we got going here, very classic one. And ever since they took it off Netflix, it hasn't been our day, month, or year. And then I added, dude, don't hate, man. Okay, and then I me growing up, one of the funniest ones to me was 2.5 Men. Unfortunately, Charlie Sheen has a little breakdown, but it's a really good show up until that point. And then I added some action, some drama, like some really good stuff with the Game of Thrones. The production value is just spectacular. The storyline's amazing. Kind of just like How I Met Your Mother, we can just throw away the last season and forget about it. But it's just a really classic show. And I ended with Curb Your Enthusiasm. I probably should have added some cartoon like Dragon Ball Z or Family Guy right here, but Curb Your Enthusiasm, if you've ever seen it, it's hilarious. You can really relate to it, and Larry David's just the bomb. And okay, with that said, we're wrapping up another fantastic episode, a very long episode, but a very amazing episode. I think everyone has a really great roster here. You can vote on Ashish and Friends on Instagram and Ashish Pals on Twitter. We'll put it up after this podcast drops. And you can also look at results, ask us questions, give us segment ideas at ashishandfriends.com. Thank you so much again for tuning in. We greatly appreciate it. And until next time, we're out.